At least 6 people have died after their boat capsized while trying to reach the UK from France. 49 others were rescued. Local officials say dozens of boats carrying migrants were trying to cross the channel from France. French prosecutors are investigating. Despite the dangers, hundreds of people are waiting to make the journey from France. Authorities say they are scattered in makeshift camps along the northern coast of the country. Well, this Afghan migrant explains why he's willing to take the risk.
If our family knows, they will never allow us, and we also don't want to take that much risk. But we have plans, future. Yeah, we planned. We wanna learn, so that's why we accept that risk to go there.
In England.
My dream is to learn because we know English and we like that to learn in their universities or college. Yeah. So that's our plan, and this the only reason we want to go there.
And here's a look at the latest figures on UK asylum seekers. According to the UK government, since 2018, more than 100,000 migrants crossed the channel in small boats. This year alone, the figure stands at 16,000 migrants. British authorities say almost 800 migrants crossed the channel in a single day this week. In mid-July, British lawmakers passed the illegal migration bill that will see migrants deemed to have arrived in the UK illegally deported to Rwanda. That's a policy that could face lengthy legal challenges. Earlier this week, the UK started housing asylum seekers on a barge off England's south coast, but all 39 migrants were removed after bacteria which can cause pneumonia was found in the onboard water system. Well, migrant deaths and the government's policy towards asylum seekers have dominated British newspaper headlines. Left-leaning papers like The Mirror and Observer have focused on the governing Conservatives' treatment of migrants, while right-leaning tabloids like The Sun and The Express say people trafficking gangs are to blame for the crisis and call for the boats to be stopped. Well, let's get more on this now. We are joined by Fizza Qureshi. She's CEO at Migrants' Rights Network, and she's joining us from working in the United Kingdom. Thank you very much for your time. The UK has some nationality-specific routes for displaced people to enter the country from places such as Ukraine, Hong Kong and Afghanistan. And I believe that 6 migrants or asylum seekers who lost their lives were from Afghanistan. Why is that?
I think what we have is a real welcome, a positive schemes for certain nationalities in certain areas, and there is nothing for many other nationalities. So when we look at the Sudanese conflict, there has been no effort by our government to actually create a scheme like the Ukrainian one to allow people to be reunited with their families who are already here, or to be allowed to leave that conflict area. They've been kind of left to their own devices, sadly. And so then we ask, again, like, who is welcome to the UK and who is actually welcome for refugee protection? It seems to be a very select few are giving that, being given that protection.
Okay, but it is my understanding that, again, that the 6 people who lost their lives were from Afghanistan, and like I just said, the UK has a pathway for Afghans, doesn't it? So why is it that some still feel, or many rather, still feel that they need to risk their lives and catch boats and try to enter the UK illegally?
Well, those pathways are very restrictive. I think the pathway that does exist for Afghan nationals has been, I think, like used by and offered to kind of a handful of people. So you can't expect people to sit and wait until the government decides that it's going to allow you into the country. There are many people who are non-Afghan nationals who are also facing persecution and need protection, and they don't have pathways either for themselves. And I think the problem is also, again, there is a desperation. People think their only options will be to get into that boat, sadly, because they don't trust some of the scheme, well, the Afghan scheme, which really doesn't work in practice.
OK, so what do you think the UK government needs to do then to stop migrants, to stop asylum seekers from taking these very dangerous journeys to arrive in Britain?
I mean, I think what we would say is do something similar to the Ukrainian and the Hong Konger scheme, actually. Both those schemes have worked really well. You don't hear of Ukrainian smuggling groups or others. But what we would say is really speak to the refugees and those who have to take these routes or feel that they're forced to take these routes as to what those safe routes would look like. But there has to be a better way than what they're doing now, and offer those schemes, but offer them up beyond the nationalities, but to anyone who really needs that.
But do you think that this Conservative government is likely to do that? Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says the government's first duty is to stop illegal arrivals.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't think they will. They have just rampant the rhetoric on the small boats and the crossings. And you can see that with the way that they brought in the Nationality and Borders Act, and then the Rwanda plan came out very quickly, and now the Illegal Migration Act, which is, has been passed also. What we really need is for kind of civil society and the public to really step up the pressure on the government and say, this should not be done in our name, and we don't want to be part of a country which prevents people from getting protection and prevents them from getting to safety, and is kind of forcing them into these boats because that's the only options they have.
But what do you say to those in the United Kingdom and elsewhere who say that they just cannot accept everyone who wants to enter the country?
I don't think everyone wants to come to the UK. I think that's a misnomer. But those who are coming, they're coming because they have family ties. We do, forget about the legacies of colonialism and imperialism, and the fact that these people are fleeing conflicts, usually that have had some kind of input from the UK, sadly. When we're talking about Afghanistan, Iraq. And so I think it is about our duty as a country in the global north to offer people sanctuary and protection when they come to our doorstep.
That is Fizza Qureshi of the Migrants' Rights Network joining us live from working in the United Kingdom. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.